been too busy.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's actually...
What is up guys, it's your boy Swell, I'm here, back with another Classic WoW video for fresh Classic WoW servers. We are finally getting fresh, progressive servers for Classic WoW, which means we are getting multiple servers. We are getting PvE servers, or I guess one PvE server per region. We're getting a PvP server, and these two servers, they will progress into a TBC Classic in about 1.5 years, or 14 months, 16 months, something like that. These are progressive Classic WoW servers starting from fresh, and we're also getting fresh hardcore servers at the same time. If you are a gold maker like me, this is an absolutely great time. Going back to Classic era like a couple of years ago in 2021 or 2022, it wasn't really the best time because people had hundreds of thousands of gold. The whole Classic era market was ridden with gold buying and gold selling, and if you were doing a raid, you had to pay thousands of gold for items through GDKPs, and thankfully GDKPs are banned in Classic Fresh, which is great to see. They're basically doing the Season of Discovery handling of GDKPs, so we'll be seeing less GDKPs by a huge margin. It is essentially banned, but you might see some GDKPs in some way, shape or form, but the basics is GDKPs will not be there. That being said, gold in Classic WoW is a huge thing. First of all, you need gold for your mount at level 40, you need even more gold for your mount at level 60, and then you have consumes. If you've been raiding in Classic WoW, consumes cost you a lot of gold every single week, and due to how raids are working, sometimes you raid several days per week. Some raids reset every 3 days, and you want to have consumes for all of them to parse. Parsing culture is huge, so they want to have flasks, consumes, food buffs, and even potions and everything else. Having raided in Season of Discovery myself, I know just how expensive
Botrix has
this
correctly
can be,
joined the
and
channel.
Classic WoW, it's probably going to be even more expensive. So gold is a huge thing in Classic WoW. Even with the ban of GDKPs, gold will still be a huge thing. And I love farming gold, I love making gold. To me, this is going to be insane. And we also have fresh servers, which means the market starts at 0. That is a huge opportunity. Now, for the purpose of that, we are going to be covering some gold making content on this channel over the next couple of days and/or weeks, where we're talking about farming gold, making gold, crafting for gold, and also investing as well. Because one of the main ways I make gold in Classic WoW is by buying items when they're cheap, because when everyone else wants gold, they are willing to sell everything they have for like whatever they get. So you can get some very good deals if you have a little bit of gold the first month, because that's when people buy their mount at level 40 and buy their mount at level 60 and also start buying consumes for their raids. So by playing your cards right early, you can make a bunch of gold long term, which is going to be great. Now today we're focusing on the gold farming aspect of this. This is a bunch of people joining in right now. This is a bunch of people. Are we getting world buffs? Okay, that makes sense. This is like classic hardcore right now, by the way, on the old hardcore servers. At just a random time of the day, so I feel like this is pretty popular, and I cannot wait to see how popular the fresh hardcore servers ends up being in less than a week from now. And when this video comes out, I've been scheduling some videos here, and this video should be coming out very close to the launch of the actual hardcore servers, or the fresh servers. Now in this video, we're talking about farming for gold, and I want to show you guys some locations where you can farm for gold while you are leveling in these fresh servers. And we're going to start with some very low level gold farms here, by the way, because even at low levels, if you just don't know where to quest, you can combine grinding mobs for experience and farming valuable items, either that you can sell right now or later down the line. You can basically farm as a term of investment, where you're farming for something that is not relevant at the moment, but will be relevant later, and then you can sell it later. So you can farm for gold both right now and later, and also get experience at the same time.
Started off small, had to let it grow.
PlayStation.
Now we are going to start this off with farming for light feathers and small eggs, and also sharp claws. Now the main thing I'm farming for here is basically those light feathers. They will be usable whenever Arthur Basin comes around and slow falling becomes a thing, levitating becomes a thing. Basically it's not something that will be relevant right off the bat, but you can make a bunch of gold with over the long term. And between level 10 and 20, there's not really that many farms you can do anyway, and this is one of those few farms that you can do that has a lot of relevance. Light feathers will be really cheap early, but they will go up in price over time, and we also have the fresh release here is really close to the Christmas event, which means small eggs might actually become relevant very quickly, and you can make some gold base of that as well. You also get those sharp claws that you can also sell for a decent, like okay-ish amount of gold. It's not gonna make you rich though, definitely not at the start, but it's a mob you can farm and get experience at the same time. You also have this. This is used in the Red Ridge Goulash quest, and it's the hardest item to farm. It can be farmed at a circle I've highlighted right here in Red Ridge Mountains, where you're farming for the Red Ridge Goulash, or the tough condor meat, for that Red Ridge Goulash. If you want to farm in the low, like level 15 to 20 range, that's a great place to be. This is basically based on the principle that a bunch of people will be lazy, and they will be trying to get that quest complete as soon as they can, and will be willing to pay you whatever they have to complete that quest fast. You can either get pure gold for it, like silvers, or they can trade you skinning materials, herbalism materials. They can trade you items for those items, and you can make a bunch of gold by doing this, and grind mobs for experience at the same time. Likewise, you have the Gore-Tusk liver pie in Westfall. If you want to make a bunch of gold, or just get a bunch of materials, be a tradesman kind of, while you're leveling, you can just grind a bunch of Gore-Tusk in Westfall, and save up all of the snout and the livers you get, and trade those to other people, either for silvers, or for skinning materials, mining materials, or herbalism materials. Gore-Tusk livers, you need 10 of them or 8 of them for a quest, and the snouts you will probably not be able to trade, but the livers you will absolutely be able to trade, and lots of people are looking for them every single fresh. Now that was just to start us off with some low level gold farms to show you like you can start farming for things really early and give yourself a competitive advantage in the gold making scene from a really early level, even though you're not gonna get much, but you can trade for silvers, and you can then put those silvers into valuable items that will go up in price over time. And it's all about starting somewhere and building a snowman, but starting with a little bit of snow and turning that into a snowball, and then using the snowball effect. For this next one, you want to be in the mid-level 20s, maybe to close level 30s. You're fighting level 25 to level 28 mobs, and we are doing so in the Charred Vale. This one will be a lot easier for Horde players than Alliance players typically, because it's much closer to the Horde. It is basically very close to the Barrens, right? And if you are a Night Elf, you will probably go here at some point, and as an Alliance player, you usually go here before Desolate times anyway, so you can definitely go here like as any faction. It will just be easier and faster for the Horde. Now over here, you can start farming for the end game already, where you're farming for elemental fire from these fire elementals, and as I just showed you on the screen, they are using greater fire protection potions. And here is a map of where these are farmed, and the red circles highlights where these mobs are, and it's just in the Stone Talon Mountains. And once again, why this is easier for Horde is that it's much closer to their like starting zones and like where they already are, so this is like a Horde favored farm. Meanwhile, Alliance can definitely go here as well.
If you think Black Friday is actually on Black Friday anymore, you're living in 2019. You wouldn't believe how many customers are jumping on deals weeks before the actual day. And honestly, we didn't see it coming. Our support team just told me we're running dangerously low on some of our most popular knives, and Black Friday hasn't even started yet. Here's the thing, our buy 2, get 2 free deal is the best you'll get all year, period. And unlike other companies that wait till Black Friday to unlock marked their best deal, we're letting you get in on it now. But here's where it gets crazy. Remember the gator knife everyone went nuts for last year? Yeah, that one's almost gone. And the Promaja? Stock's dropping faster than hot butter off our blades. Look, I get it. You might want to wait for Black Friday, but let me be straight with you. If you wait, you might end up with your second or third choice knives, or worse, miss out completely. And trust me, nothing's worse than settling for less when you could have had exactly what you wanted. We're seeing orders flood in like never before.
Next up is another farm where you're farming for the end game already, and this one is more alliance favored because we're in the wetlands right now, and as a horde it's kind of hard to get here, it takes time. Here you're farming for the small flame sack, which is used in fire protection potion, so the cheap alternative to greater fire protection potions. Now these are used a bunch, they're also used in Dragon Breath Chili for example, so they're not just used in the regular fire protection potions, but them being used in those potions will make them relevant, and Molten Core comes out 3 weeks after these servers comes out, so these will be in high relevance really early, and especially if you're playing on the hardcore servers, this will be really good for you. If you're not self-found, of course, you're using the open house. Fire protection potions are used all the time, not just in Molten Core, but in regular dungeons as well, in the Molten Core itself, and even just to do lava skips. So both regular fire protection potions and the greater ones will sell like hotcakes, no matter the server you play on. PvP, PvE or hardcore, doesn't matter. And farming these mobs right here, they're level 25, you can start doing this farm in the mid-level 20s, like let's say level 25, and you can literally farm for the end game at level 25. So if you are stuck and you have no idea where to go at level 25, especially as an alliance player, this right here is a great place to be, because you're hitting 2 birds 1 stone, farming gold and experience at the same time. Next up, in the mid-level 30s, or towards the end of the level 30s, or even at the beginning of the level 40s, you have 3 different locations in the Badlands where you can farm for elemental earth. Now, the fresh servers, they are progressive, starting with phase 1, then phase 2, and then phase 3. Elemental earth usually gains more relevance in later phases, when we for example have AQ or set G, or anything requiring like nature protection potions, is when this will be more relevant. That being said, you can start farming for it really early, so once again, if you're looking for a place to farm, combine farming for experience and gold at the same time. Any of those 3 locations in the Badlands would be good. And also, we have these locations right here for small flame sacks, which is the same level range. So high level 30s to low level 40s, you have all of these 3 locations which are great to farm for small flame sacks and various hatchlings, which is basically just a cosmetic or a battle pet.
Yes, I should be able to find room for this aboard the ship. It sails with the next
there,
tide.
adventurers. Classic WoW is back, and the race to level 60 is completely on.
All taken care of.
But let's face it, what's the point of hitting max level if you're broke when you get there? Imagine instead reaching level 60 with enough gold to buy your epic mount, enough gold for all your abilities, and even enough gold to snag some really shiny epics. Now that sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, stick around, because I've got the ultimate guide to help you do exactly that. We're going to dive into my personal favorite gold farming spots from level 1 all the way to level 60. Plus, I'm going to be sharing some must-have tips along the journey to make sure you're leveling up your gold stash as fast as your XP bar. So kicking things off with levels 1 through 10, we have the ultimate moneymaker, which is, wait for it, linen cloth. For horde players, I am highly recommending Duratar for the quill boars. Not only are you getting really easy to kill mobs, but they're right next to a mailbox, they're right next to vendors. You're never going to have to take a break. See, the real pro tip is to always make sure you're near some kind of mailbox when you're farming. That way you can mail things over to a bank vault that's sitting safe and sound in Orgrimmar and Stormwind. You're collecting tons and tons of gold without any risk, without any slowing down. Let's say, though, that you don't want to farm the quill boars. You're undead, for example. A really good option is Tirisful for the gnolls. The gnolls are such a good farm to get linen cloth, and you can also eventually turn that linen cloth into magic wands as well, and sell those for really good profit on the auction house. Finally, though, the 1 to 10 grind. If you are human, sure you're leveling up your gold stash and snag some really shiny epics. Now that sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, stick around, because I've got the ultimate guide to help you do exactly that. We're going to dive into my personal favorite gold farming spots from level 1 all the way to level 60. Plus, I'm going to be sharing some must-have tips along the journey to make sure you're leveling up your gold stash as fast as your XP bar.
I haven't seen or heard about him in
things up with levels 1 through 10,
I appreciate
we have
you bringing
the
this to me,
ultimate
adventurer.
moneymaker, which is, wait for it, linen cloth. For Horde players, I am highly recommending Duratar for the quill boars. Not only are you getting really easy to kill mobs, but they're right next to a mailbox, they're right next to vendors. You're never going to have to take a break. See, the real pro tip is to always make sure you're near some kind of mailbox when you're farming. That way you can mail things over to a bank vault that's sitting safe and sound in Orgrimmar and Stormwind. You're collecting tons and tons of gold without any risk, without any slowing down. Let's say, though, that you don't want to farm the quill boars. You're undead, for example. A really good option is Tirisfal for the gnolls. The gnolls are such a good farm to get linen cloth, and you can also eventually turn that linen cloth into magic wands as well, and sell those for really good profit on the auction house. Finally, though, the 1 to 10 grind. If you are human, one of the very best grinds is going to be those kobolds in the caves. It's risky, especially with hardcore, but again, you're getting linen, and that sells for very good profit early. So around level 12 to around level 22, this is really where the Westfall crabs come into play. Now it is time to make friends with one of my very favorite mob types in Classic WoW, and yes, it is the crabs in Westfall. Even if you're Horde, this spot is totally worth it, especially if you're playing hardcore WoW. See, there are really two major crab hotspots. There's the one from about level 12 to 16, and then there's the one you really want to do around 16 to 20, where you're getting tons of XP and these hyper spawns. The main loot you're looking for from the crabs is greens. You can disenchant them, you can sell them on the auction house in hardcore. Another key, there is a neutral Defias NPC in the inn right next to Dead Mines. Not only is this NPC amazing if you're running Dead Mines, but he's also able to take all your goodies and he'll give you gold for them. Just fantastic. Then moving into that level 22 plus range, we're talking the Wetland Gnolls and the Wool Cloth Bonanza. See, this becomes such an insane grinding spot. Think greens, think blues, a massive amount of wool cloth. It's always going to be in super high demand. This area is really a true hyperspawn. You just can't kill these gnolls fast enough. If you're hitting level 20, talking the Wetland Gnolls and the Wool Cloth Bonanza. See, this becomes such an insane grinding spot. Think greens, think blues, a massive amount of wool cloth. It's always going to be in super high demand. This area is really a true hyperspawn. You just can't kill these gnolls fast enough. If you're hitting level 26, this is when you go to the Stonetown Mountains, west of the Stonetown Mountains, to farm harpies. Not only are you snagging greens, you're snagging blues, you're getting silk, you're getting wool, you're getting raw gold too. Horde players, though, they get an even better reason to be here. They're right next to a mailbox, they're right next to the vendor, and perhaps the biggest and savviest tip, they're right next to a secret health potion vendor in the upstairs of the inn. Another awesome reason to be in the Harpy area, well, of course, is the abundance of chests. And these chests have rare items, they have recipes, and they are going to give you so much extra money. As we push into the low-level 30s, Stranglethorn Vale becomes one of our very best grinding spots. The thing is, the Tigers, the Panthers, you're already farming for quests. They drop so many gray items that are able to vendor for really surprising amounts. If you've got skinning, though, you're doubling your profits with things like medium with heavy leather, which is just such a win-win. One word of caution, though, this is one of the most PvP dense areas in the entire game. If you want to have more of a chill grinding spot in Stranglethorn Vale, one of my recommendations is the Mistvale Gorillas. They have very similar loot without any of the chaos. Moving into level 37 plus, we have the Whelpling Farm in Swamp of Sorrows, one of my personal favorites. Not only are you getting the small flame sacks, you have a chance at the extremely valuable Emerald Whelpling Pet. And also, you can gather all these stackable grays and just put them right into the vendor in Swamp of Sorrows. Also for herbalists, you can really double dip by getting extra herbs like Fade Leaf, Goldthorn the whole time you're in this area. And then if you are Horde, by the way, this is one of the very best locations to get health potions as well. I used to log out in Swamp of Sorrows and log back in every so often just to get health potions, so I would never die in hardcore. So as you near level 40, this is where I like to switch my focus to the Burning Exiles. The important part is the elemental fires.
It takes courage to embrace your extraordinary.
Every hero, the new platform.
These are used in greater fire protection potions, and every single player, they're going to have greater fire protection potions going into Molten Core. It really isn't a question. Then hitting that level 42, the Scalding Whelps and Badlands are really your next target. More small flame sacks, valuable grace, the greens, a chance at the dark whelpling pet that everybody wants. Some estimates put that farm at over 20 gold per hour. Really not too shabby. Then in your mid-40s, this is one of the most controversial farms, but it is a true gold farm. The Tanaris Wastewander mobs, they're giving you Mage Wave Cloth, they're giving you scrolls, but most importantly, they give you the Wastewander water pouches. These are used in a repeatable quest that gives tons of experience, and it allows wealthy players to buy their way all the way from 40 all the way to 50. The heads up though, Blizzard doesn't love this kind of quest because it's so overpowered. So if you can test it, please let me know in the comments if it ends up working. Then at level 47, the Troll Tribal Necklace farming is fantastic for Alliance players. The trolls give you valuable loot, but the tribal necklaces are really the big prize. These necklaces, similar to the pouches, they're giving you repeatable quest XP to boost your way to 50 plus. But they're also valuable on Horde as well because you can trade them on the neutral auction house, and tons of Alliance players want them. So at that level 46 to 47 range, also you could consider grinding the Nagas and Feralis. The mob density is high, and while the gold farming isn't the best, you do get the chance at golden pearls, which can be worth over 50 gold each. One note really important to understand, before you have a mount, mob grinding really isn't slower than questing. It's once you have a mount that you really want to start prioritizing actually doing quests, because you're traveling around the game so much faster. So around that level 51 to 53 range, that's where the Jadefire Satyrs are such a gold mine. You're collecting demonic runes, and those are essential for casters at 60, even though they're not tradable. You're also getting tons of Felcloth, and that sells for several gold each on fresh servers. As you level up as well, you can move into the higher level Satyrs for even better loot, even better XP. Then in your mid to late 50s, the Eastern Plaguelands become your real playground. The bats, the hounds, they have really high mob density. They give lucrative drops, plenty of leather for skinners too. Plus, you can work on the Tyrian Fordring's quest line. Best inside items available, like the Fordring Seal. Then last but not least, on our final push to 60, grinding the Scarlet Spellbinders for the Crusader enchant recipe is amazing. A group of mid-level 50s can easily farm multiple recipes on the route to 60, and each of those recipes could easily pay for your epic mount by themselves. So there you have it. By hitting these grinding spots, you're not only leveling up, you're leveling up and getting rich too. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you found the video helpful, because there are way more tips and tricks coming you don't want to miss out on. Oh, and one more thing. If you don't subscribe, your grinding spots might end up a little crowded. Still deciding where to play though? Check out my ultimate server picking guide next. Until then, happy grinding and may your loot be epic.
Good morning! Fruit Loops, find the loopy side!
Holiday deal hunting.
It's kind of our thing.
Best Buy doorbusters every Friday. You're on it.
Are we doing our doorbuster thing?
I'm literally getting doorbusters right now in my slippers.
Those are my slippers.
Deals and doorbusters all season at Best Buy.
As all your other engineering items. So if you want to use like Goblin Sapper Charge or anything else and then use this, it's a very nice combo. And it also offers really good damage, especially while you're leveling. I think it's like 400 damage, so that's
These are
really
four
nice.
super effective lat exercises you probably don't know about that all emphasize a deep lat stretch. First, long length neutral grip pull-ups. Unlike traditional pull-ups, these keep the lats in their most stretched position, something new research shows is great for muscle growth. Going all the way up shifts tension to the mid-back, which is fine, but to prioritize the lat stretch, try staying in the bottom half. Still control the negative and still push the set hard. Second, a lat-focused cable row with lengthened partials. Think about dragging your elbows against the floor, and for lat emphasis, emphasis, don't row past your shoulders so the mid traps don't take over. At the end of your last set, keep going with partial reps in the stretched half. Third, the modified lat prayer. Most people do pullovers standing upright, but your lats never get a full stretch this way. To fix this, bend forward by 45 degrees and then lift your chest up on the positive to feel a better contraction. Fourth, the crossbody lat pull around. These provide a huge stretch on the lats from a unique angle. Brace against your knee, keep your shoulders square, and don't be tempted to twist your body. End the range of motion once your elbow is in line with your shoulder. These are 4 super effective lat exercises you probably don't know about that all emphasize a deep lat stretch. First, long length neutral grip pull-ups. Unlike traditional pull-ups, these keep the lats in their most
these motherfuckers mana burn. Hurts.
Well, you did good, kid. A little more work like that, and it'll be one less thing I'll have to worry about. Hopefully, they'll be convinced that they should relocate their operation elsewhere. In the meantime, there is the small matter of getting back the goods they stole from me. Ah, that sort of
found
business.
A 3 stamina.
You know, I saw the
with
heedless
5
once
fire
on the
resist.
open seas. Fearsome ship,
Amazing.
or was that boat?
Yes.
Those sailors are so particular.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's definitely
watching her
molten
glide
core
across the water
abyss.
was
Yeah,
quite
it's
a
a
sight
phase
to
1
see.
abyss right there.
I'm glad her infamous captain will trouble my ships no longer.
I think so.
Gazlo sent you.
Yeah,
Did
I
he?
just went ahead
Just
and
a
rolled
moment.
mead when it dropped.
Let me take a look here and
Said,
check my
guys,
own logs.
main
Make sure I
tanking
didn't have
Ragnarok.
Gazlo's shipment sent to the wrong place. Bet he's waiting for those boots from Drizzlek.
Man, these things get me in combat without even like being near them. Kind of annoying to not be able to charge them.
No dice, eh? I guess it must have been the freebooters then. Dizzywig's on the level. I'm sure he wouldn't cheat me like that. After all, he is on the payroll. Looks like I've got some goods to get back, adventurer. What do you say?
Glad I could help.